Night City, a sprawling web of skyscrapers, strip clubs, back alleys, and the venomous lifestyle of the future. It's a sight to behold, not because of its size or the things to do within it, but down to the sheer level of detail and immersion put into every single molecule that exists within this open world. This isn't just a living, breathing world to surround the protagonist, but instead Night City is the main character here. It has the style, it has the substance, and you are merely one of thousands living within it. If you weren't there, Night City would continue business as usual, because that's how authentic CD Projekt Red has designed this world. And ultimately, that's the grandest achievement of Cyberpunk 2077. This open world is one of the greatest I've stepped into, and it's down to every little detail that makes it so engrossing. However, and it's a shame, but it cannot be denied that Cyberpunk 2077 has had one of the most disastrous launches of any game I've played this year, and I've seen people defending CD Projekt Red, saying why would anyone expect a game like this to run so well on a 7-year-old console, and I'll tell you why. Because this is a PlayStation 4 game. It's not a PC exclusive, it's not even a PlayStation 5 game yet until next year. It's a PS4 game, and thus you then expect the game to work on PlayStation 4. People didn't play Ghost of Tsushima earlier this year expecting it to crash every couple of hours. The fact some customers have been asking for straight refunds on this product is a stark contrast to how people were viewing this game before its release, as if like this was the next coming of Jesus.
Whatever you want. مش مشكلتي.
And it's true, there's a stunning game here hidden underneath the cracks. A game where the open world has never been so enthralling, vast and beautiful. A game where the characters feel like living residents of this world. A game where the dialogue makes you feel fully immersed and involved. But once the game starts to fall apart and break and glitch and crash and stop working, it's like sitting in the cinema during an edge of your seat moment and then the movie goes to black. The immersion is broke, and when the immersion stops during a Western role-playing game such as this, that's when the experience is left soured.
Just one of those days.
Is Cyberpunk 2077 worth getting? I'd say yes, but only when it is fixed and on a sale. Hopefully the PlayStation 5 version that comes out next year can do the game some justice. Playing as your own custom character, known simply as V, you'll choose your own mercenary path that sets you on this engrossing adventure across the gritty futuristic metropolis of Night City, where you fight inside your mind with a personality construct of a long-dead Night City rebel, Johnny Silverhand, voiced by Keanu Reeves. You'll interact with a memorable cast of NPCs, all with their own unique designs, interests, and most importantly, motives. This game makes you distrust almost everyone, and every character that gets introduced to the game is memorable and comes with thrilling backgrounds and dialogue. This game is half action RPG and half visual novel. There's a lot of talking, but this certainly ends up being one of Cyberpunk's strongest traits. However, there were times when I felt there was too much sat down dialogue for extended periods of time, which for many, there'll be times you just zone out and stop listening. Some of the conversations are just that long. Or you get the decade-old NPC walking and talking, but not at the same pace you're walking, so you gotta keep stopping, waiting for them to catch up, which never is fun.
A chip because you were looking for it.
We must examine you. If you survive the gym, it is at the chip's cost.
On the other hand, Cyberpunk 2077 really allows you to play the game your own way in terms of the amount of weapons you can use, the side quests you choose to do, the augmentations you decide to buy for your character, even down to which gender you'd like your character. This is a game that welcomes all players, and that's highly commendable and what I'd like to see in more games of this caliber in the future. But in terms of making your character your own, it's pretty limited even for 2077. I mean, even in the pre-game customizer, the options are very limited. Saints Row managed to make one of the most in-depth character creators almost a decade ago, with size and body options, more skin color options, walking style, facial expression. Here, it's tough to really make your character not look like the one on the box art. In game, you can't even change your hairstyle, and you can't add metallic prosthetics, which is a huge missed opportunity considering the setting of this game. Weapons all felt really good to use. If you want to go the ranged weapons route, there's a ton of options to choose from. All guns with their own neat little reloading details and attachments to equip. Melee weapons also were very satisfying to use, and what I preferred, slashing limbs off like no one's business. You can even charge the attack on an enemy, and this will show an execution move. The skill trees, on the other hand, are a little less exciting, not really having much in terms of new skills to learn, and majority are just stat boosters, like +1 to intelligence or an extra 10 armor, things that should come naturally through leveling up, not using valuable skill points. I also have a problem with the level design in this game. Every objective is so in your face, and a little pin marker will be on the screen for the next main mission the majority of your time. I even had times when I'd select the waypoint to target a side quest, and as I'm travelling to it, the game changes the waypoint back to the main mission. In the levels, everything is very specific what it wants you to do. Go here, kill the guards, speak to woman. If you try to be stealthy, good luck, because this game's AI is not designed for stealth. This game has that old style of, if one enemy spots you, instantly every other enemy in the level knows of your exact presence. So I found it much more quicker to just slash through every level like I was Raiden, rather than engaging in some solid stealth. Besides the stealth mechanics, there are a few different paths certain levels can take, but all end up in fairly the same circumstances. The bigger choices you'll have to choose is the very last level. Depending on what side missions you've done and which characters you favoured during the game, you'll get one of half a dozen endings, and these certainly do alter the final course the game will take. I can say I definitely enjoyed my time with Cyberpunk when it worked. Ignoring the markers and just exploring Night City is super fun because of how dense it is, the way its districts are intertwined, the way its streets and alleyways and catwalks all snake around the neon lit skyscrapers. It's truly astonishing to be involved in. But the way the AI is, and the stealth, and the sheer amount of bugs, glitches and performance issues this version has certainly leaves the game more than soured. Overall, Cyberpunk is a game set in 2077, but feels like it was made in 2007, most likely due to this game's hazardous development cycle. There are so many mechanics that many games of the last 5 years have fixed, such as slow walking NPCs during dialogue, busy skill trees with zero depth, police that spawn right behind you if you're wanted, or poor stealth AI. And there's so many missing features that most games of the past decade have featured, like changing your hairstyle, customizing your car, mission markers constantly in your face. Cyberpunk 2077 was a fun game to play through its campaign and attempt some of the side activities, but as an open world RPG, it ironically feels like it's from the past. And this isn't even mentioning the PS4's terrible amount of bugs and glitches. Cyberpunk 2077 from me gets a C for cool, as there's a fun game here with a beautiful open world. Dated, but fun. Game of the generation, this isn't. Thanks all for stopping by and watching my review of Cyberpunk 2077. I hope you're all having a good Christmas, despite the circumstances of this year, and I'll see you all in the next video. Adios, take care.